Hey, this is Stefano with Hideous Divinity, and I'm blowing it up on Capital Chaos TV.
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting Capital Chaos TV interview. Today we have Stefano from Hideous Divinity on the phone. How are you doing this morning or in your world this evening?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you so much for asking.
My pleasure. Let me ask you, how old are you?
I'm 32.
32. Cool. Do you remember your first pit?
Um, I don't actually might have been like way too long ago, I think.
No worries, no worries. Do you were you into that kind of were you into slam dancing and pit action at all?
Well, not really. That might be it might be it. I mean, I always used to headbang and do a lot of just the usual mechanics, but I've never been kind of like mosher myself. I always, of course, like enjoyed seeing people do that, but I also am not that strong physically. So every time I try to like, yeah, that's cool, let's try this. I would just end up on the floor and be like, yeah, that's not for me, maybe.
Yeah, it's different strokes for different folks for sure.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm
exactly.
I'm 6'2". I weigh 260 pounds, so I'm a little. I can endure that kind of behavior a little more.
Right, no, I see that why, but yeah. So yeah, I'm the kind of guy that usually stand a little bit far in the back and just doing the horse and headbanging, kind of chill.
For sure, for sure. And do you remember your first concert with playing as a band in a band?
Oh,
Sorry.
oh yeah, and a bit. I mean, I don't really know if you could consider that a real concert, but like with one of those high school kind of end of the year things. And yeah, I was like 16 or 15 years old, and I was even sick. Like it's not really the best memory, but a real concert. I'd probably say I was 18 years old, so it was 2007. My first thrash metal slash death metal band, and we had this very tiny local show in Rome. It was 14 years ago.
And, what was your first concert as a fan?
Oh, as a fan, okay. I went to see Gamma Ray and Motorhead in Rome. I still remember that show because I mean I was just a teenager, and I mean my two older brothers brought me up in the whole metal scene, so I literally grew up listening to metal as a kid, and I still remember like the excitement that I felt just going to the concert, like consciously as a metalhead. And I remember we all kind of stood on this little hill, just looked on the stage, and so I didn't even pay for my first show. That was, I think, so funny. But yeah, that was exactly my first show. I had a lot of fun.
Did you have to buy music, or were you able just to get music from your brother?
Oh, at first I just listened to what they got. That they had this very conspicuous library of tapes, vinyl, CDs, and I would just listen to them all. Man, like the classics, the big four, and all that kind of stuff. But after a while, I just wanted like to start collecting stuff myself. So I would go and buy. I still remember my very first two CDs, and they were, I think, Among the Living by Anthrax and Ride the Lightning by Metallica. I was 9 years old. I just finished my, I think, fourth year elementary school, and I just asked my family just to take me to the music shop and buy those two CDs and a boombox also to play them with.
Very cool, very cool. And do you what's your most do you said you have a bit of a collection. What would you say is your most prized music collectible?
Hmm. Hmm. I would probably say there's two records, man, because they were exactly they were in the first editions, of course, but I really value them so much because it's part of my, like childhood and a very good memory. So I would say probably those two records, yeah.
What was your first instrument?
Actually, it was I think classic guitar. I was just 4 years old, and I would be so loud, like loud with my parents until they got me this guitar, which of course I couldn't play. But I mimicked the players that all the guitar players that I watched on the TV and video clips. I did really good impressions with headbanging and stuff. But my very very first like actual instrument was the drums. I played them for like a year when I was a little kid, like 8 or 9 years old. But after a while, I literally fell in love with bass. I used to play the old bass one of my brothers used, and stopped using because it was kind of really old. But I just found it and started like messing with it a little bit, and that's how it all started.
The bass is a great instrument.
Sorry, what again?
I said the bass is a great instrument.
Oh yeah, I think so too. It's I mean, not trying to say that because I'm a bass player myself, but I think it's for a musician, not just metal, of course. It's the perfect combination, between the rhythm, the drums, so the percussive aspects of music, and of course the melody, which you might actually expect from a keyboard, a piano, or a guitar player in our case. So I think it's the perfect instrument if you kind of undecided between what kind of instrument you want to pick.
And is 4 strings enough?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes also three are enough, but
Yeah.
I think if you kind of want to play some specific kind of sound, like low death metal, I'm thinking of really old tune or Swedish death metal, or like drop stuff that's kind of trendy right now. You kind of need an extra string, or you just down tune them all, but that way you kind of miss the higher one. But if you're a player that don't really care about like high ringing notes, or you don't really do crazy stuff on high strings, yeah, I would say probably four is enough. Yeah.
Now, I remember reading and hearing about the COVID devastation in Italy last year. Has the media portrayed it accurately?
I think they did a pretty good job doing that, man. And yeah, it was insane the first couple of months. Not that we, like uh, out of it yet, but we're kind of starting to see the light at the end of this very very hacking long tunnel. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, March and April were crazy. Dude, like hospitals was starting to fill up like so quickly, and we had a lot of deaths. And first couple of months of lockdown was some serious stuff. Yeah, you were we weren't basically allowed to go out unless you had this kind of how do you call it? I don't know. This kind of an equivalent in the U.S. about of that, but we had this self authorization she would produce to the guard, like the policeman, in case it stopped you. Because the only activities allowed, I'm sure pretty much that's what happened in the whole world. The only activities that were allowed was going to the groceries, or if you had to go see a doctor, and that's it. That was it. And yeah, summer was kind of alright, and I think we like very recklessly thought it was kind of all over, that the whole thing was over. But then after fall and winter, like especially November and December, it started to pick back up, and all the like we have kind of pre-vet numbers right now. So we're in lockdown part two now, kind of situation, but it's kind of softer because people don't care anymore, I think. I still do, but yeah, it's tough, man.
So your last tour in the States was with Vader, and then you played Europe with Terroriser. Is that right?
Uh, it's half correct. Like that was the Vader tour was our actual last tour because the Terrorizer one didn't happen because it was supposed to start right when the whole country, I would probably say the whole world went into full lockdown. So yeah, that tour didn't happen unfortunately.
That must have been. I mean, obviously, this is like one of the most insane experiences of all of our lives.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a new thing for us, not for history, but I mean, I don't think any of us were actually born in 1917 during the whole like Spanish flu epidemic. So yeah,
Spanish
it's a
flu.
novelty. Yeah, it's a real novelty for sure.
And it says here that you also toured here with Aborted. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I also play bass in the border. Yeah,
Did you play with both bands on the tour with Cryptopsy?
correct. Yeah, I pulled double duty like for 30 shows in 31 days.
How do you like that? Double duty.
With hindsight, not really much, but nah, I mean, I'm kidding. It was awesome, dude. Like, I got to play twice, and I'd probably say the coolest US tour I ever played. Not that I did many, but that tour was really cool. Like, very very good company, and everyone was chill. So, I mean, I tend to I tend to consider myself pretty lucky to have the chance like to play twice. Sometimes it was kind of tiring, but not really physically. I would say more mentally because I would of course I would get to the venue and set everything up, do sound check, then take a break, and also dinner was an issue because usually like everyone ate at around 6 or 7, but I would get on stage right, like after that. So I would play my set and then like change, take a real quick break, and then get back on stage again. So like my day was actually over by 2:30, like at 2:30 a.m. So that was more like I probably say the most exhausting part, but physically per se it was cool.
And do you notice much fluctuation in turnouts? I know that there are ups and downs in pretty much everything.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there were shows that were like cooler than others in terms of turnout, but yeah, I would say Chicago, even the first show in Detroit and LA was sick. Oakland too was cool, and oh, Denver was pretty sick too. The whole Canadian shows were awesome, like Toronto, especially it was full house. I think we had like couple more than one sold out shows, and most of them were like packed. I think we just had like a couple, of routing shows. The one you usually played on either on Mondays or Tuesday just to have as many shows as possible. But that's part of part of the job. But I don't mind like playing in front of, I don't know, 50, 60 people as long as it's just the one show. But
Right.
yeah, but the whole tour was pretty good. Yeah, it was really good.
And the new Hideous Divinity album is centered around the Ridley Scott Alien movies. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it's specifically about aliens. So yeah, the second movie, and with EP, we try to narratively focus on the like the story as told from Rebecca, the little girl's point of view. So also there's only so much you can talk about like or deal with in depth with just an EP. So yeah,
And Chest Burst is the new single, but
yeah, that's right.
but it's not on the EP, right?
Yeah, it is. It's second. It's actually also the second song in the track list. So we released the first one, Acre on Stream of Woe, and then Chest Burst. I think, yeah, Friday, like 3 days ago. Yeah, it's on the EP.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Oh,
And
it's all good, dude. Yeah.
and you also have a Coheed and Cambria cover on that EP as well,
That's
right?
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was that was an interesting choice. Enrico Scatino, the guitar player, kind of supervised the whole thing, like musically, and also went for this song by Coheed and Cambria because oddly enough, there's not so many metal bands that uh, dealt with alien like conceptually, you know what I'm saying. So that was the like most metal, like most rock band that actually dealt with this song, which kind of fits the story, the narrative of DP so well, and also offered itself for further rearrangement, and then like also a little bit of kind of we messed with it a little bit because it had so many atmospheric open riffs that we could kind of make our own, like make them sound a little more Hideous Divinity, if you know what I'm saying.
Of course, of course. And you have a video. It's I guess it's called a visualizer
Yeah,
for the new. It's I like it. How do you like that kind of video as
it's
opposed to?
yeah, 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 yeah. It's a good video, I think. I mean, most of the time, like people, unless you have a really like solid story-based video clip, fans, I don't really mind having uh, extra like complex visualizer or rather just a static with some kind of images that move. But I like this one because it's really centered on one of the artworks for the EP. That actually the Lion Angel with the chest burst, like it's gonna be featured in the booklet of the EP. So it's part of the extra artwork, and it's so different if you compare it to the main, to the cover artwork, which is kind of a little like more subtle, more eerie, and then gory as is the one featured in the video clip. So yeah, it's very cool. It's also kind of reminds me of you know very Cannibal Corpse style kind of gore, but also very alien themed because of the torn apart chest. So yeah, I like that.
It's beautiful. Now the new EP is it's a pretty good representation of what the album will be. Is that right?
Could be, and I also hope so, because I think with Athenians and Simulacrum, the previous two records, we kind of, I wouldn't really say exhausted our death metal options with those ones, but we also felt like venturing a little more towards the black and the dark realm of sound. So as long as it's you know still riff oriented, but also replete with this kind of atmospheric vibes, I'm all about it. So yeah, in a way, you could say it might be an anticipation of what we have in store for the next record. Yeah,
Is the new album a bit of a new beginning for Hideous Divinity?
I hope so. I mean, like now every album, of course, is always going to be the new thing, the one that kind of renovates the band's image, also, and most importantly in terms of music. So I think it's all about progression, and both in terms of concept, but most importantly, again, music. So it could be, it would still be Hideous Divinity. So really, kind of black death metal-ish riffs, but also with a lot of with a more of a cinematic approach, like score-based approach, like the first song in the EP is. So yeah, that might be kind of a giveaway in terms of music. So, yeah.
And for me, Alien Covenant is the most terrifying of them all. Which is the most terrifying of the 6 movies for you?
Okay, yeah, I kind of agree with you because like Covenant got so much shit, man. Like, I think it's kind of unfair because I mean, like, okay, it's a different story and all, but there's a couple moments that felt like whoa, not only talking about the jump scares and all kind of stuff, but I like the story. Prometheus to me is also a very, very, very good movie. And I also know that Rico probably wouldn't agree with that. But to me, I would probably say Alien. The first one, it's like the darkest. It was, I think, 77 or something like that.
Yeah,
So it was really the first movie actually dealing in depth with a kind of, you know, sci-fi vibe. It was actually the first one combining so impressively horror and sci fiction, sci-fi.
Yeah, as cold and dark as you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are there any live streams planned for the near future? And have you watched any yourself?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I watched like I think a few. I watched the one that Ingested did. It was a very good one, really well shot, and the guys are also really cool friends of mine. So yeah, it was solid. And we also did a thing with Century Media last year. We played like a mini set, 2, 3 songs, I think. It was more of a Century Media based kind of festival. And we're supposed to do one, I think, in June, fingers crossed, if, like we're allowed to see, like each other again. Because we have a guitar player that actually doesn't live in Rome. He lives far up in the north, I think like 4 or 5 hours from here. And he's not allowed to cross like regions. So like regions, those are I would say, not the equivalent of the U.S. states in Italy, but they are the administration units in the country is divided in, and you can get outside one, like right now. We also have this kind of crazy like color-based system, which allows you to do certain things depending on the kind of color your region is assigned. But anyway, so yeah, probably this summer I think we're doing like a full show. So yeah, fingers crossed we can actually do that.
And talk a little bit about Gabe Sieber, his personality and his drumming.
Oh, what? Why Gabe? Okay, no, he's a great guy. I know him personally. I think I met him like 2 or 3 times. First one on the Devastation tour with the Aborted, and I think it was Berkeley, the death fest or something like that. And
Oh,
he's
the
great.
California Death. Oh no, the Bay Area Death Fest.
I think so. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, Facelift was supposed to play next day or something like that. Anyway, yeah, he's a great guy. Is also probably more importantly a great drummer. And I still remember. I think when he played for, I think he played for, I don't know. I remember Decrepit Birth, like ages
Yeah,
ago.
he's the live drummer for Decrepit Birth. That's right.
Okay, yeah, because I remember the first time he auditioned for them, and like, of course, it was over the moon, and I still remember, like, yeah, the kid is great, and he made it, and of course, he played with so many other bands like Abbott, and he's such a cool guy and really good drummer.
Yeah, we're both from Sacramento, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
it, and we're both metalheads, and it's for me, it's great to see uh, fellow musicians from my area break out and go nationwide. So it's a source of pride, if you will.
Of course, yeah, and it makes sense, of course.
And who else should we be listening to, as well as Aborted and Hideous Divinity?
Right. Let me check real quick the name, but dude, I fell in love with this band so bad. Like, I think it's called Cryptic Shift. Might be wrong though. Yeah, Cryptic Shift. It's a kind of a experimental tech fresh kind of band from the UK, and they're insane, dude. The music is so great. They have like a 26-minute song as the opener of the last album, and let me say that again. Cryptic Shift, tech fresh band from the UK, and I will also say Ulcerate. Of course, they're great, and they actually need no introduction. And yeah, what else? Let me say hi real quick to my friends in Benighted. And yeah, I mentioned that them before, so also Ingested. And yeah.
Well, Stefano, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you when you resume your live duties here in the States and nationwide. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with anybody that might be listening to this?
Oh, first of all, thank you so much for your time, Zora, and it was a pleasure for me to do the interview. And yeah, I really hope to go back to the States like as soon as possible, as soon as it's all safe, so we can all like start hanging a little bit together and start going back to shows and all that kind of stuff. I would really love to go back to the States because most of my best memory as a musician, as a touring musician, is actually from tours that I played there. So yeah, is hoping that we could actually start doing that again as soon as possible.